I have two questions for you. How old are you? And how many pillowcases have you laid your head on throughout your lifetime? Yeah, it seems like odd questions, but they're very important to this topic of discussion. No matter what age you are, you've definitely laid your head on some pillow. I say this to say that it's not something that you think about as much as you do. Of course, if you're a beauty guru and you are very invested in skincare routines and stuff like that, then you'll be more conscious and aware of the things that you put your head on at nights. But for you, the average individual, the average consumer, how many pillows cases have you laid your head on throughout your lifetime? Probably more than 50, more than 100 maybe, depending on how old you are. That's the thing. There are a lot of photographers around the globe, a lot of talent, some talentless. But the point is, each and every individual matters, and each person that is evolving into a photographer teaches you something about the grand scheme of photography and what it has metamorphed into. That can be a good thing, that can also be a bad thing. But let's explore it. Here's a quote from a great photographer by the name of Martin Hart, and he says, "Everyone is a photographer now. Remember, that is the great thing about photography." I love this quote because I believe that it really tells you about the grand scheme of the art of photography. And it's that it has grown into such a thing that everyone is able and capable of doing it. And that's amazing. Never before has anyone in the history of the entire world as our generation been able to acquire and do as much as we are doing right now. And we see a lot of time that people shit on other photographers, especially in the community, where we think that, oh, because everyone has access to a camera, that does not make them a photographer. Though that is very true, it tells you more than just that one thing. Photography is art, and we hear that art is subjective, but yet we refuse to give other people the chance to actually grow into and do stuff that they enjoy doing. And that's one of the criticisms that I have with photography on a whole, that other photographers just tend to look down on other young ones that are actually coming up and don't fully understand the art and craft and the meaning of it. But we don't give them the chance to explore. We don't give them the chance to actually grow into and learn from that, but instead we look down on them and see that, oh, they're a photographer in a very condescending way. That is not supposed to be the case. And here's a message that I've really began to really look into from this guy called Ted Forbes from The Art of Photography.
I think that as human beings, if you have something that you can do through a creative gesture, whether that's photography, music, dance, art, whatever, if you have a creative output that brings joy and happiness in your life that you derive from, that is very successful. And on one level, that is work that matters. And I have no problem with that. I encourage that.
If we really get philosophical about photography, we need to begin to ask ourselves, why do we do it? Why do you do photography? Then we can also begin to ask ourselves, what is good photography? What makes a professional photo? And these are questions that can be quite ethical, moral, philosophical, but still, they're very important questions to really giving true identity and realism to what each individual takes photography to be for themselves. If we say that this is a subjective thing. And let's stop saying that, oh, everyone is a photographer now, and celebrate that. Let's celebrate the fact that everyone is a photographer. That gives us the passion and the drive to actually go forth and really produce our best quality content. I mean, when I go on my Instagram and I begin to scroll and I see people actually doing stuff, that is an amazing thing. We never had the opportunity to do this before, but now that we're actually getting into, people should be embracing that. And that's something that I really and truly would like to see better in the photography community, just celebrating one another. We're not just here for competition, because this is art, and art should be celebrated in all its forms. And that is today's PowerPoint. Peace.